This is gonna be weird. Hi. Welcome to this video. If you don't know me, I'm Seijin. And yeah, many people have asked me from my community to do an explain video because I have been gone for like 8 months and I'm gonna be explaining a little bit. If I'm looking like here or something, I'm reading off of my notes because I don't want to miss anything important throughout this experience. To sum it up short, I have been homeless. Like, I was living in a shelter for homeless people for 4 months. Yeah, 4 months. Yeah. I have been living in a homeless shelter here in Germany. I'm a German guy. For 4 months. And I wanted to share my experience and everything that has happened in between. Because, well, obviously, I'm a streamer. I got some part of a community. And they have been asking where the fuck I went. And I didn't want to have them be too worried about it. But also I don't want to leave them in the dark about it. I have briefly talked about this on stream, and my closest friends knew about this, obviously, and they have helped me a lot to go through this. So yeah, here I am, and I will be explaining what happened. Basically, in mid of May, my ex-girlfriend broke up with me. Everything's fine. Nothing really super important happened that struck this. But the super important part about this is that we had an apartment together and she was telling me that she was moving out, which is fine. But she didn't leave me any chance to stay in the apartment. And for people that live in Berlin, where I live, know that it is super hard to get an apartment in Berlin. And I wasn't in the best place at the time because I was jobless. And I had no savings because I'm also like some part in debt. So basically what happened, I had 3 months, more like 2.5 months, because she told me a little bit later. I had 2.5 months to find an apartment, find a job, like whatever fucking job that pays rent and everything. And yeah, it basically ended up, like I said in the beginning of the video, I was moving into a homeless shelter. I wasn't in a best mental state at the time. I was very insecure. I was very not right with myself. I was very unhappy with myself, physically and mentally, because obviously the job search didn't work well, and I didn't like how I looked, English, and yeah, so I was looking for jobs, didn't find something, and then basically at the end of September, I found a job. I was like, yay, I can do something. And then basically what happened is I had contacts to the social workers, to the social system that we have here in Germany. It's very good, but it's also very flawed. Basically what they have been telling me is that they can't provide any active help besides secure that I get government coverage, which I was already given. But the government coverage didn't include like keeping an apartment or anything. And also the thing with the apartment was that since my ex-girlfriend was the main contractor for the rental apartment, she canceled the contract I had no chance to say to them like, yeah, I'm living here as well, you know about this, let me move in. I messaged them and they were saying like, nah, we can't do it, we wanna renovate the apartment. And I was like, okay, fair enough. I asked, I can't do anything more, obviously can't like force them to keep me in there. So yeah, I went to the social housing help place that I found online, and they were saying like, yeah, we can't do anything. And I was like, why? Like, you're here to help, obviously, aren't you? And then they were like, yeah, but you're not actively homeless. And I'm like, but I'm bound to be. And this is the first thing where I was like very shattered and like started to panic a lot. And basically what happened afterwards was I had multiple appointments with the social workers in those facilities, and they were all telling me like, yeah, you're not actively homeless yet, like your rental contract ends on late of September, I think it was like 22nd of September. And then I was like, yeah, but I don't want to be homeless, like obviously, like who the fuck wants to be homeless? And then they were like, yeah, come back when your rental contract is over and then we can figure something out. And I was like, this is a bullshit system, isn't it? And then that happened, obviously, because I didn't find an apartment. I had the job offer that I was going to take, obviously, which started at the 13th of October. I was doing a job as a helper for the Christmas time in IT support for some printer company, and it was a good job, but it was only limited to 2 months. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna be working for those 2 months, because I already moved into the homeless shelter on the 8th of October. And oh boy, this was horrible. First of all, my first roommate, because the rooms were always a double room, like not really in the space of a double room, but they were 2 people supposed to be in it for saving space and everything. I get it, because space in Berlin is limited as fuck. And my first roommate was a Finnish guy. He was very, very cool, very cool. He had some problems with his alcohol. Was fine though. But I think 3 weeks after like I was moved into the room, he was gone. And I was like, he's never gone. Like, he was working and everything, but he was never gone overnight. And I was saying, yeah, okay, it's a weekend, maybe he's sleeping at a friend's place or something. But yeah, he was gone for a week, and we had this rule in the shelter that you weren't allowed to be gone longer than 2 nights. So basically, you leave on Friday, you had to sign a sheet of paper that you were there on that day, as like a checklist. And then he was gone on Friday, or basically you are allowed to be gone on Friday, and then Saturday 1 night, Sunday 2 nights, and on either the Sunday, and if you are a good citizen, because there were some pretty bad people in there, if you're a good citizen, you are allowed to come back on Monday then, on the 4th day, so basically 3 nights. And if you didn't come back that day, or you were coming in too late with no notice anything, you were being kicked out of the shelter as a house rule. This put a lot of pressure on me because, first of all, I didn't want to be in there. It was very, very dirty in there, especially on the weekends when there were no cleaners and everything, people that clean the place. It was very dirty. No one was paying attention to any hygiene hygienic stuff or anything. You had shared showers, you had shared bathrooms, you had shared kitchen, which I never used. I only bought pre-made food that I could just eat on the street while going to work or anywhere. So yeah, this was the first very, very shitty experience. My roommate was gone, and I was like, oh shit, I have to get used to a new guy, because I'm also a person, IRL, that I'm easy to get around with people, but if I have to be living with them, I also want to know what the fuck they're about. And being in a homeless shelter, it's like you have a lot of drug addicts, a lot of alcoholics, a lot of people that want to change their life but don't, or they just talk. And this put me in a scary position for myself, because I was like content with him. He was working. He had some alcohol problems, but he wasn't an alcoholic. He just, when he drank a little bit too much, which I think most of us can relate to. So yeah, he was like a very, very, very nice guy. We were talking in English all the time. He was talking to me. We were exchanging some experiences, because he was also older than me. And yeah, he was gone, and I was like, shit, I have to get used to a new guy, which is a little bit mind-boggling for me, because I have this issue called panic attacks, and I have a panic disorder, which doesn't let me sleep very easily. Also some insomnia coming from it. So I was like not sleeping very well. And then on the Tuesday next week, like a week after, I got a new roommate, and he was horrible. He was very horrible. He was loud, he was screaming, he wasn't paying attention to any fucking house rules that we had, and we had them for a reason. He couldn't speak English, he couldn't speak German. He was, I think, Indian speaking or Arabic. I don't know, I don't know the languages. I just know he wasn't paying attention to the rules, and he was smoking in the room. I am a non-smoker myself, and smoking in the room was prohibited. So I went to the security and I told them, hey, my guy is smoking. I already warned him, because I'm a fair man. Like, I give him one warning, you don't do it, then okay, you're not listening, then you're gone. So went to security, told them, they kicked him out. And then I was alone again for like the rest of the week. And then on the weekend, Friday I think, I got my next roommate, which was also my last after I moved out. And oh boy, he was even worse than the guy I had before, because he was a drug addict. He was heavily opioid addicted because of some medication that he was supposed to take for his illness, disease. I don't know if it was a disease though, but he was sick. He was visiting the doctors very often, and he was supposed to take some medicine against it, which is fine. I know opioids can do some very, very rough damage to your body and get you addicted very, very fast. So that wasn't cool. He was at least communicating with me, or at least trying, when he was sober, which was basically never. He was always on a percentage level of between 100% completely on drugs and alcohol, and like 20%, which was his sober. And it was very, very bad. It was a guy that left an image in myself where I was like, I don't want to ever be this guy, and I will do the utmost best to never get in this position. And this is like a harsh statement, I think, because I know we sometimes don't have a choice. So yeah, he was a horrible guy. He tried to be nice, but he had this issue of not following the rules as well. He was smoking in the room when I wasn't there. At least he was being polite about it, but he was smoking in the room. I told him 4, 5, 6, 7 times. And he was like arguing with me and saying like, I'm doing it when you're gone, because I was still working at the time. It was in mid of November. And I was like, yeah, I don't care. Like, it's nice of you to be that considerate, but first of all, I am not a smoker. Second of all, you're doing drugs in the room. Third of all, you're breaking the first house rule, which is not smoking in the rooms. And if you want to do it, don't do it. Like, I don't make the rules. I'm just complying. And I don't want to be an asshole and go to the security and get you kicked out, because we are in the same boat. And then it started to get worse. He started to get very aggressive. He started to punch me. He started to harass me with other people. Like, not anything bad, but he started to like threaten me with his friends that he made in the shelter. And basically put me in a very, as I explained, panic disorder, put me in a very bad spot. And I was like, I can't do this shit anymore. And I was searching for any clues to get out of there. And the shitty part about this is, yes, I was working, I was earning money, but do you know where that money went? I earned roughly 1,600 euros a month. I needed to pay 1,400 euros of rent for a 15 square for a 15 square meter room that was shared with one fridge in it, with 2 very small like cabinets that I could put my stuff in there, all of the rest of my clothes and stuff that I still had, because I had to throw everything away that I had, like my table, my chair, everything. I threw away a whole kitchen from my old apartment. It was all in either the cabinet or it was in my luggage bag. And this was bad because I was always stressed about him touching my stuff, stealing my stuff, and he started doing that because he never went out and planned his day for like food and stuff. And every time I went back home, I had food in my fridge, because I was like, yeah, I'm trying to save up money because buying pre-made food is fucking expensive, and I also don't have that much money. And he started to steal my food. One day I came home. I was very hungry from work. I was very tired. I was very stressed. Came home, wanted to eat. He wasn't there. Went to the fridge. Opened it. No fucking food in there. I had like, I don't know. I always went to the store for like daily stuff. So I wasn't like buying for a whole week in advance because I didn't want to do it. And also the fridge was broken. So I had my stuff in there. I had like, I don't know, I think it was a burger and a Coke in there, and the fridge was empty. And I was like, okay, this is starting to get really, really bad. I went to the security again, told them, and they were like, yeah, what should we do about it? And I was like, bro, he's stealing my food that I paid for, and I'm for sure not getting the money back because he doesn't apparently have any money to buy himself his own food. And then this went on a couple more times, and I, like, every time he did it, I was like, dude, just if you need money, you can ask me. if I have some money spare, I can give you some money, but go buy your own fucking food, because I don't want to walk 20 minutes to the store myself when I already did it, and buy me some new food. And he was like always making up the weirdest excuses and saying whatever the fuck, and I was being tired of it. And basically what happened in there wasn't the best time. Obviously I struggled with some hard decisions. I didn't want to keep going anymore. I didn't want to go out of my way and try to be the bigger person or do anything super active against it, because obviously my options were limited. And this is the part of the video where I want to explain why people in your life that support you, not financially, but in a human connection way, are very important. Because if I didn't have my current best friend here in Berlin, I wouldn't be here anymore, probably. I wouldn't be sitting here in this room, because he and his mom allowed me to stay in their apartment, occupy the living room, which hopefully looks alright, and get rid of everything that has accumulated up until this point, which is some debt, obviously, because I wasn't able to cover my food, my expenses, and pay off some of the debt that I have, on top of having the shelter take some money off of my earned money for the rent, and then also fuck up the calculations and now telling me I owe them like a couple more €100. And basically, if I wouldn't have my friends, and I wasn't also going to motivate myself going out so much and not constantly work on myself, I wouldn't be here anymore. I don't want to emphasize this, because it's very important to have people in your life that tell you straight up what the fuck is wrong with your situation and give you an outside perspective. It's not always the thing about them trying to down talk you. It may seem like it in the first place, but them just telling you, you're doing a shit job at living, should be enough for everyone to have a wake-up call and think about it a little bit more. And I know it's not easy, and I know it's very, 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 very hard to think outside of the box, especially when you're in a situation where you think, you're useless, you're not worth anything, you can't do it anymore, you don't want to do it anymore. But there's always a way. There's always a door that opens for you. And even if it's just a tiny little creak of an opening, you have to just pull it open by yourself, or asking for help. Asking your friends, hey, can you help me? I'm in this situation. Can you somehow help me? It doesn't have to be monetary. It doesn't have to be like giving a chance of becoming a millionaire or whatever. Just being there, showing up, and talking to the people and trying to get them out of their hole is more than enough. And so now I'm in this place. Like I said, I'm living with my friend, closest friend at the current time, and I'm going to be paying off my debt, going to be doing a lot of things, working, obviously, working on myself. I lost 35 kgs in the first 2 months of me having this situation commence, like from September to November, end of November. I lost 35 kgs. I was down from 125 to 90 kilos. Now I'm weighing 80 kilos at 6'1". I'm currently working on myself mentally and physically. I'm never going to be recovering from this probably, but not in a bad way. I will take this as an experience for myself and try my best to help other people with it, like being the motivating factor for them, being there for them, obviously, but which always has been a part in my stream. Like, if you ever have something that bothers you, just reach out to someone. And even if it is like, hey, can you just lend me some ears? I'll do one event. Just go there, message them the wall of text that you want to get off your chest, and just send it and let them read through it. And if you don't want an opinion, just straight up tell them. If you want an opinion, be ready to maybe face something that you don't want to hear. But this is the important part. Not like hearing what you didn't want to hear because you already knew it deep down is probably the thing that motivates you the most. So yeah, this is basically the whole sum up of the story that was happening throughout the last 9 months. The last 9 months since my ex broke up. And it's been alright. But I'm very, very happy that I stuck with it, that I went through it. And I just want to say to you, we don't have control over our lives all the time, and it's fine. It's just, the thing is to not be breaking by those things. Okay? Don't lose your humanity. Reach out to people and stay strong. You got it.